So, my stream disconnected. I'm just kind of waiting to see if people are coming back in. Thank you, Cal. Yeah, no, not sure what happened. I got a message that just randomly said my stream had disconnected. So, I don't know exactly when that happened. Like I looked over and the stream was gone. And I had a message. But we're just waiting a bit longer just to see if we can get some more of our original people. Tin Can, Rafnar, Die Anime, if you guys are on there, feel free to comment. I'm kind of waiting for them to see if they'll pop back in. Hmm? Huh. Interesting. I'm seeing. Look here. I'm seeing. God, that's fucking me up. WB, welcome back. Thank you. I'm not seeing Cal's comment, but I'm seeing Anime Hero Gamer Fan. I'm gonna put that back in there because that's disorienting. Cloud Monkey, hey! I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you in my comments. Though I have been seeing you on Twitter a bit more. That does happen. That's true. My posts have been happening at a later time. So like, or not. I used to stream later, and I think now I've been streaming at like I started at 12 o'clock my time, so 12 o'clock Pacific Mountain Standard Time. I don't know if we're Pacific Time or Mountain Standard Time, to be honest. Arizona, the only state that does not do daylight savings time. All right, I think that's good enough. Ultimately, we're just here to finish the this special chapter before I end the stream, I guess. That's weird. I still don't know how I got disconnected. I pulled the trigger. The gunshot echoed loudly, and the bullet whizzed from the muzzle straight toward the target's head, only to pass right through. What the hell? I couldn't help but curse. Could the Phantom truly be impervious to attacks? No, that can't be right. Calm down. They must have taken advantage of the environment here to dodge the bullet at an imperceptible speed. Huh. That wasn't very gentlemanly. You. Hearing the Phantom's voice, I froze in shock.
Be patient, Mr. Hero.
Oh!
At least allow me to turn on the stage lights first.
She's talking. We get a voice. This happens sometimes, but that shocked me. I didn't think they'd give a voice to, like, an NPC character who's only going to show up, like, once. Two spotlights suddenly cast their beams on us, allowing me to finally see the person's appearance clearly. Naturally, it was nothing like I had expected, but that didn't mean anything. You've got nowhere to run. Is that me?
Run?
I don't even get to
Please
talk to this.
enlighten me. What crimes have I committed, and why should I run?
You being serious? It's not my duty to sentence you. The Midnight Knight is simply here to exterminate the wicked. At least the adjutant says nothing.
Hiding behind that facade. Do you really believe your hands are less stained with blood than mine? Isn't a hero in the shadows just a part of that same darkness?
He's going all Bane on us.
Am I not right, Heimdall Adjutant?
Eh?
Commander Rosen sends her regards.
I kind of figured she'd be an enemy, but amid a deafening gunshot, I saw the bullet whirl from Katie. It's a little weird that they add, like, just partial voice lines. It surprises me. So I kind of figured Katie would be the one who was behind all of the sabotaging. Before I fully grasped what was happening, my chest was pierced, blossoming into a spray of blood. That definitely isn't a prop gun. As this meaningless thought crossed my mind, my vision blurred. And then I collapsed heavily to the ground. I've always wanted to say that line. Well, shit. Like a movie paused at its climax, the observation hall fell into eerie silence. Eventually, Katie dropped the gun, her peculiar smile unsettling everyone present. Everyone seemed to believe that perhaps what just transpired was yet another of Agave's last-minute script changes. It was only when the sound of the gun hitting the floor echoed like a death knell that reality set in. You! Agave suddenly felt her waistband loosen, and before she could react, her pistol had already been snatched by Changxing. In a flash, Changxing rushed up to Agave and delivered a merciless kick that brought her to her knees, then placed the muzzle of the pistol directly on her forehead. Wait. Oh? Just as Changxing was about to pull the trigger, a peculiar purple glint flashed in Keire's eyes. Moments later, her body slumped to the ground like a lifeless puppet. So, someone was possessing her? The very next instant, under the watchful eyes of everyone present, a demiurge handmaiden materialized in the center of the hall. And she's doing maniacal cackling. The demiurge handmaiden erupted into manic laughter, a sound that seemed to have been suppressed for far too long. I never expected such a bonus for hiding for so long. Right, they can talk. You manipulated Kaede? How did she even get in there? Isn't Kaede just a normal human? Just a few subtle hints, nothing more. They may be useless against manifestations like you, but for an ordinary, unsuspecting civilian like her, they're more than enough. You killed her? For some reason, it was only then that a hint of anger tinged Agave's voice. A pawn that has served its purpose is sure to be disposed of. So, the swapped bomb and the sedative in my makeup were also your doing. You controlled Kaede to do all those things. Are you serious? You're focused on those details right now? I'm fairly certain by this point that the adjutant is just fine. Just as the demiurge handmaiden was about to respond, Changxing abruptly interrupted her. Ignoring her hoarse cry, Agave pressed down Changxing's gun and calmly continued her inquiry. You said killing the adjutant was an unexpected bonus. What were you originally after? You think I'd tell you? Foolish mortal. That's right. But since it's come to this, I guess it doesn't matter. So she's gonna tell us anyways. Huh? Why is it suddenly... I volunteered to stay when Commander Rosen retreated, aiming to retrieve that worthless secretary's corpse, which she referred to as Woden's remains. So Woden's... And it's just, I guess we're just gonna... after nascent Woden's defeat, the remains of the demiurge handmaiden was scattered across New Hentiro. These remains have special physical properties and, unlike Titagen, are invisible to the naked eye even when in physical form, making them hard to recover through conventional methods. Further research has shown that Woden's remains emit a high-frequency signal that demiurges or demiurge handmaidens can detect, allowing their location to be identified. The potential function of Woden's remains is still uncertain. I wonder if those are ever going to come up again in the story. Even the commander herself had no plans to recover them. If I succeed, it'll prove that I'm even stronger than any of the so-called demiurges. So she's got like an ego. Corpse? You can't see it, of course. Without the proper methods of detection and recovery, mortals can't sense the presence of the remains. So even though she said, like I'd tell you, she's still telling us. If it weren't for your ridiculous movie shooting around the remains, I would have reclaimed all of them by now. So you know where these Woden's remains are? Isn't that obvious? Then please share that information with us. Even Chang Xing, who had been nearly blinded by rage, began to regain her senses upon witnessing such a bizarre scenario. The demiurge handmaiden tilted its head in confusion, puzzled by why it had unreservedly confessed so much, and why it still had an uncontrollable urge to share even more secrets. It looks like we're about to have an explanation for why it's sharing so much. I'll tell you. But that is correct, yes. Typical villain moment where they're like, ugh, as if I'd ever tell you, but since you're here anyways, I'm gonna reveal my entire plan to you. I don't know why villains do that, honestly. The remains are at... The words had barely left its mouth when it suddenly leapt up, as if electrocuted, dashing toward the hall's exit. After just a few strides, it tripped as if snagged by an unseen force, crashing to the ground. Pale violet threads encasing its body then appeared, stretching all the way to Agave's hand, naturally. The sexy hand. Must we always resort to violence? That's your line from the first act, isn't it, Miss Director? At this point, I no longer needed to play dead, of course. As everyone stared in shock, I wiped off the fake blood from my chest and stood up. Adjutant! Oh, she's coming over for the second time today. A pistol clattered to the floor. This time, it was Chang Xing's. She and Fritia rushed over, frantically feeling my chest, to check for a bullet hole that was never there. Only after confirming I was unharmed did they stop their frenzied searching, dumbfounded. Alright, that's enough, girls. This isn't the time to cop a feel. I think Agave's the only one who would legitimately cop a feel here. Agave came over with a playful grin, picked up her pistol, dusted it off with a theatrical flourish, and quickly went to Kaede to help her to her feet. With Agave's support, Kaede slowly opened her eyes and yawned, as if waking from a deep slumber. What in the world? Witnessing such a surreal resurrection, Chang Xing and Fritia managed to voice their confusion, while the rest of the crew was utterly speechless. Some so overwhelmed they had collapsed. Is it really that overwhelming? Quick question. What have we been doing all this time? Filming a movie? Obvious answer. Bingo. And now that the filming has ended, the fallen knight naturally comes back to life. Is this some kind of sick joke? Allow me to explain. I steadied Chang Xing, who was so furious that she almost stumbled and fell, and directed her gaze to the thin thread in Agave's hand. Basically, before the filming started, flashback. Let's make a movie, but... That day, after proposing her idea excitedly, Agave's face suddenly fell into a worried frown. What's the matter? Mr. Adjutant, I'm sure you're worried that some of Rosen's lackeys, lingering in the city, will potentially sabotage our shoot, aren't you? She was right. The frequent public security incidents in New Hentiro weren't just the work of citizens under the influence of the malicious data. Rosen's soldiers who had been left behind also contributed. If there had been any other options, I'd have preferred to use a more discreet plan to avoid complications. Since you brought it up, you must have a plan, I presume? As the adjutant's chief secretary, handling problems is my forte. Is it? Smiling, she spread her arms and stretched the faint violet threads between her fingers as she stepped closer, prompting me to subconsciously step back. Come on, I won't do anything weird to you. Mr. Adjutant, just trust me, okay? I don't know, she's kind of a degenerate. I don't think I trust her. Without any more explanation, she continued to approach. The threads in her hand seemed to have sprung to life, swiftly encircling us from behind and binding us together. Is she moaning? The pressure against my chest was uncomfortable, and Agave, perhaps inadvertently, made odd noises indeed. But soon the pressure ebbed, and the thread vanished mysteriously, though everything else around us remained unchanged. Just as I was about to say something, Agave gave me a quick wink, then swiftly pulled her gun from her waist and fired 2 shots at a nearby chair. The bullets punctured the backrest. Done. Now, Mr. Adjutant, watch closely. What are we watching? The threads reappeared, tightened around us, and then relaxed again. This time, without her cue, I subconsciously glanced at the bench. There were no bullet holes, so wait, what? Do you see what my ability is now? What I can do is time reversal? She looked at me expectantly. It dawned on me. It wasn't precognition or emotional manipulation. She's simply delusional. But with her ability to control Tytogen and the high polymer threads in her hand, she could project her own delusions onto others' minds. Okay, so essentially, she is a delusional girl who can project her delusions into the minds of others. Wild. That explains a lot, though. Staying immersed in such a fabricated world for too long could indeed warp one's emotions and reasoning. To convince the Demiurge handmaiden it had to accomplish its mission so that it would divulge its secrets, we played along. But none of us have seen Agave's threads before just now, had we? Good point. So where has this thread been all this time? Could it be... Did you... Ow! Wait, ow? Brethia jumped, too caught up in her excitement. Oh, she bit her tongue. Poor girl. Yeah, I guess the only reason her power is not, like, ground-shatteringly OP is because she's just a delusional pervert. The world is safe. I got it. You must have pushed the die to encircle the entire harbor. Her words, though slurred in discomfort, were clear to everyone present. While you and Cheng Xing were en route to New Hentiro, Agave and I were already making preparations. So her threads are literally covering the entire city. We constructed a massive projection frame using that incredibly stretchy thread. Unknown to the city's inhabitants, all of New Hentiro was encompassed within this frame. That's some good art. From that very moment, the movie had already begun. Of course, Agave's work was far from done. Over the next 48 hours, she scurried across every nook and cranny of the city, memorizing the coordinates of streets and buildings to keep her delusions consistent with reality and prevent any discrepancies. Adding to the challenge, she hasn't slept a wink since then. If she were to doze off, the world she constructed would crumble, which explains why she couldn't fall asleep when we had the sedatives on her. As I spoke, images of Agate seemingly sitting idly in a chair over the past few days flashed through my mind. Only I knew she wasn't spacing out, but rather using those moments to briefly rest her brain. I did my best to keep her awake by chatting, cheering her up, and using any means necessary. This monumental secret nearly was exposed when we were in the rainforest. This was a long night that only she could make it through, but in the end she did it. I guess she's gonna fall asleep soon. This miraculous, dramatic twist, orchestrated by Mr. Adjutant and myself, is the grand finale of Operation Midnight. After concluding her speech, Agave raised her hands, anticipating applause. However, met with the room's astonished silence, she sheepishly lowered them. You! How dare you make a fool of me? No, you made a fool of yourself. The only protest came from the figure still sprawled on the floor. Our unexpected bonus from the plan. I thought we could coax some intel out of it, but didn't expect it to be such a tough nut to crack. Let's give it a good thrashing. Okay, we're gonna give it a good thrashing. Sounds like a plan. Changxing, Fritia, could you please take the crew outside for a moment? Soon, the hall was left with just me, Agave, and the Demiurge Handmaiden. With a subtle gesture, Agave released the thread binding the Demiurge Handmaiden, who instantly surged up and darted to a spot far from us. Now, the game is on. Finally, a chance for Mr. Adjutant to deliver the closing lines I've written for him. She looks horny again. I'm almost scared to know what those lines are. Is this a connection problem? Something tells... I think this is like a connection issue right here, is what this symbol... Reconnection failed! Return to login screen. I'm still live. What's going on here? Okay, so we're gonna... Really quickly, we're gonna close it. And we're gonna... launch it again. I guess hope to God that it's working. Yeah, that was weird. Fortunately, we are almost done.
Alarms tripped. Infiltration success. Adjutant, surprised? Huh? You knew all along? Wow, you're incredible.
Alright, I just wanted to watch that really quick. We're gonna go back to the Legacy. We're gonna go to Operation Midnight. And I guess... yeah. Wait. Wait, what? As the elevator door slowly closed through the narrow gap, I caught a glimpse of Agave looking back at me and giving me a smile. No! We did this one, so we're gonna skip it. I was wondering. Okay. Don't worry, we're back on track. Oh, we got a cutscene.
I will take your life, and with it your sins,
There's Vidya.
while bringing an end to this long night.
What the f is she doing? she dancing? Why? This is a bizarre cutscene. The defrost. Is that the next chapter? Nightborn Oh. So that's the robot. I figured the robot would be part of the boss.
The Phantom. It's possessing the body of that puppet?
It's different from the other demiurge handmaidens we've seen.
Seriously? If that's the case, then planning this whole production wasn't for nothing. Something one of a kind.
Oh. No, she's coming back on every store and every radio station. Who? Destroying the parts. Ooh, ow, 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 ow. Am I destroying here?
Hey, next up. Seriously? Behold, you're about to witness something one of a kind.
My memories, all impurities are purged. Reloading now.
Oh, nice! I'm glad you finished it, and thank you for reading all of it. I know it was a long series, 25 whole volumes. I'm happy. I'm super happy that you enjoyed the experience. And I'm glad that I finally got to finish their story, honestly. It's been a long time coming.
I've got this. Behold, you're about to witness something one of a kind.
Oh, you mean those parts.
Next up. Seriously? Hey! Behold, you're about to witness something one of a kind.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll definitely go on and read at some point. I actually do read all of the reviews people send me, so I really appreciate that. Hopefully that will help the book as well. Amazon has been suppressing reviews. I think I mentioned that in my Discord, that Amazon has been suppressing reviews by independent authors. So I really appreciate that you put that up. Thank you. The last bullet from the midnight night pierced through the phantom's skull. That's fine. I mean, so, like, you know, I think no book will ever be completely perfect. Whether you're a reader or the writer, I think there's always going to be something that will get you to go, no, I didn't really like this part. So as long as your experience was mostly positive and you enjoyed it, I am happy. And you know, reviews are meant to be honest. So as long as you wrote an honest review, I think that's the best thing that you can do for any author that you. Following a chilling scream, it slowly collapsed, dissolving bit by bit into nothingness. In the next moment, the lights in the movie theater flickered back to life. The packed audience began to file out, making way for the next eager group streaming in from another entrance. Outside the movie theater, 3 locals, like most around them, were animatedly discussing the film they just watched. The scene where the Midnight Knight carries Agave out of the museum was epic. This movie really lifted my spirits. I'm not gonna lie, I think this movie was kind of ass. My favorite part was where they support each other in the rainforest. That rainforest seemed oddly familiar, though. No wonder it's the hottest movie right now. Look, Operation Midnight is snagging all the primetime slots. Special effects and acting blew me. The acting blew you away. The acting was awful. The plot's a bit quirky, though, ending right after the boss fight. Is the director setting us up for a sequel? No, I heard this movie is the director's swan song. He's planning to retire soon. Ah, what a shame. The man shook his head in disappointment, then noticed me and gave me a... what the... Hang on 1 second, you guys. Mom, what's up? So I thought my mom had called me. It was actually my youngest niece Sawyer. She's 6. I guess she snagged my mom's phone and decided to give me a call. Say, bro, you're pretty fit. You could pass for the Midnight Knight from the movie. Your face might not match, but from behind, you look exactly like him. Whoa, I see it too. Are you his stunt double by any chance? No, I'm just here to watch the movie. I then flashed the 3 ticket stubs in my hand. I gotta catch up with my friends. Have a good one. Right, he was just there to watch the movie. There was no chance they could recognize me. As the Heimdall adjutant and manifestations of Yggdrasil, it would be unwise for us to show our faces on the silver screen. So in the final cut, Changxing, Fritia, Agave, and I used special effects to alter our appearances as we liked. We even managed to fix their costumes on the fly with special effects. Special effects are pretty amazing these days. Fun fact, Fritia used effects to stretch her height to 5'6", which made her running scene look a bit off. She's really short, by the way. Super short. Adjutant, why that weird smile? You're not secretly mocking Professor Fritia, are you? Course not. Of course I was. Looking up, I found Fritia and Changxing standing in front of me. How did your investigations go? Just as Agave predicted, most citizens watched Operation Midnight either at the theater or on their personal devices. Ganges is also pushing the movie's publicity for us. We have also provided Ganges with a code to overwrite the malicious data, ensuring that even those who haven't seen the movie will see footage embedded with the code through other channels. New Hentiro is expected to return to normal within 2 months. No news is good news. And Fritia, how about things on your end? With the coordinates you provided, I have arranged the recovery of all Woden's remains. As for their purpose, well, since they were a windfall, they'll need to go through a thorough examination by the company. Indeed. After defeating that special demiurge handmaiden, Agave resecured it with her high polymer thread and extracted the precise locations of the so-called Woden's remains from its memories, allowing the company to recover these invaluable data assets. While the purpose of the remains still wasn't clear, I had an inkling that they could be crucial in our battle against Rosen. I'm really hoping the writer doesn't forget about this. Now, that wraps up our mission in New Hentiro for now. Not yet. Not yet. What does Phrygia want? Phrygia stood on her toes, punctuating each word while prodding my chest forcefully. There's still one thing to be settled. You didn't brief us on the plan beforehand. After the filming that day, Changxing was still shaking all the way back. Changxing looked at me, her eyes brimming with unspoken grievances. I braced for an earful. But instead, she offered a gentle smile and tenderly took my hand. I'm just glad you're safe. Huh? Changxing? I thought we were going to give him a piece of our mind. Phrygia's a little firecracker. Seeing Phrygia stomp her foot in frustration, we all burst into laughter. Speaking of which, have you two seen Agave? I haven't been able to find her since early this morning. I remember she mentioned she was leaving New Hentiro today. She's probably on her way to the skyport at the moment. Leaving? She's already said her farewells to everyone, and he even handed out parting gifts. I had no idea she was leaving. Well, before we came, she had already submitted her resignation to Director Tao. Right, this is a flashback. Keep the adjutant safe. This will be your last mission as a Levitane agent, but she's gonna become an agent of the Heimdall Force anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So that was what Tao meant. All along, I thought Tao intended to recruit Agave into the Heimdall Force. I had no idea. No, I should have realized it sooner. Without a moment to think things through, I turned and sprinted toward the skyport. So we're the ones who grab her and convince her to join. Despite having lived in New Hentiro for over a year, Gave's belongings remained minimal. In fact, she had even fewer items than when she first arrived. She hurried along the main road to the skyport, blending in with tourists also departing New Hentiro. Passerbys occasionally cast puzzled looks at the solitary young lady, her eyes reddened and glistening with unshed tears. She had to hurry. Though she had long braced herself for this unannounced departure, she still feared he might catch up to her, or more precisely, she feared that the lingering hope and hesitation within her might catch up. So wait, what is she? She's afraid that we won't ask her to join the Heimdall Force? Miss, you dropped something. Oh, thank you. Upon hearing the voice behind her, Agave unconsciously turned, her hand reaching out and then freezing midair, because of course it's the adjutant. You won't be able to board the sky skiff without your entry permit. I handed her the entry permit she had just dropped. She took it silently, casting her eyes downward, like a child who had done something wrong. And I have a question. Sure. What was the original ending of the movie? The ending? The Midnight Knight defeats the Phantom, unmasks the crime syndicate's mastermind, and once again restores peace to the city. No, that couldn't have been it. It wasn't scripted, but it was the ending I had envisioned. And tell me, who really is the Phantom? You said that you didn't find anyone to play the Phantom, so you asked Kaede to be a stand-in and would later add post-production effects. Knowing how much time you've dedicated to this movie, you even personally selected every extra. How could you have missed a major villain? So I wondered, which one of the characters couldn't be played by anyone else and would require post-production effects? The answer is quite clear now. The mastermind behind everything, the true identity of the Phantom, is you, Agave. In reality, this would be the least likely scenario. But this is a movie, and you left many clues that foreshadowed this final showdown. Even after you changed the ending, those clues still pointed directly to the truth, did they? I didn't see it. Maybe I'm just dumb. Why create a character like Agave who possesses flawless disguise abilities? Why does Agave know so much about Jotunheim? And why is the Midnight Knight so shocked when he hears the Phantom's voice? Your script was supposed to go like this. The Midnight Knight reaches the final showdown, only to discover his nemesis is none other than Agave, whom he had thought was fending off enemies outside. He's unsure whether it's due to her multiple personalities or amnesia, but the companion who once saved his life, his intimate partner whom he spends every moment with, turns out to be the criminal mastermind he's been hunting. In the end, the Midnight Knight shoots Agave dead. That was the original narrative and intended conclusion, wasn't it? No, it's not like that. You intended for me to kill Agave, didn't you, Vidya Shannon? So, and this is her real name, which we haven't had for a while now. I don't think we actually got her real name until this moment. Sorry, I inadvertently saw your name on the entry permit when I picked it up. Vidya. Had I not caught up to her, when would I have learned of this name? I know you wouldn't think about taking your own life. It's just the persona of Agave you wanted to kill, isn't it? Now, can you tell me the reason, Vidya? It was perhaps the first time she called me by my real name, stripping away all titles and formalities. Do you remember the question? What's the hardest thing to steal in the world? And I answered the human heart. I'll tell you my answer now, the human heart. For me, the hardest thing to steal is one's past. Your habits, preferences, ways of thinking, quirks, enemies, and what keeps you up at night all stem from your past. Even if those memories fade, they remain etched in your mind, shaping your entire existence. Are you talking about your past as a Levitane agent? I was a Levitane agent created specifically for you. Wow. Yeah, what does she mean by this? I've meticulously studied all your records and images, both public and private, from your school day teacher evaluation to your recruitment into Yggdrasil, and all the way to your promotion to the head of the security department, then to your trip to Mistletoe Station, and finally your return as the adjutant. Since my first day as a Levitane agent, my primary mission had been to learn about you, analyze you, and emulate you. At first, I didn't understand the purpose of my duties, but later, it became clear. When needed, I could be your perfect partner. Or, should you ever lose control, I would be the sharpest assassin, the one who knew you best. That explains why Agave knew the Midnight Knight inside and out in the movie. However, she took a deep breath. She can't do it. By the time I realized this, I had already fallen deeply in love with you. I had fallen for someone I only met once, yet whose everything was already imprinted. Wow, love at first sight, damn. I feel like that's most of the girls in this game, though. Sort of, in a manner of speaking. She became a Levitane agent shortly after the descent, around the time I boarded the spaceship, the Mistletoe Station. Was this what she had been doing for the following 4 years? But don't worry, that mission is over now. Otherwise, Director Tao wouldn't have approved my resignation. The only thing that remains is my past, my ulterior motives, my dishonorable behavior. I'm not even sure if I love you for who you are, or if I've merely become accustomed to having you in my life. We just met like yesterday. Sort of. So when I finally met you in New Hentiro, I wanted to cling to you as much as I could, because unlike what I had experienced in the past, the time I spent with the real you allowed me to temporarily forget everything I'd done in the past. It also made me realize that someone like me doesn't deserve to stand by your side. Adjutant's gonna slap some sense into her, right? Can you steal away my past? Well, yeah, he's the adjutant, of course he can. The evening breeze lifted her hair, unveiling her tear-stained yet smiling face. Against the distant music from the skyport, it was like a freeze frame from the final scene of our film. You hear that? They're already making the final boarding calls for the sky skiff. Next time we meet, I promise to introduce myself properly. Am I gonna let her go? Goodbye. Her steps were no longer as calm as when she arrived, just as determined. Determined steps toward a future where our paths might never cross again. I'm not gonna stop her. Vidya, I can't steal your past. Nor do I wish to. There you are. What I need is you, the person at present. Oh, damn. So we're finally we're getting a very Chad moment. Wait, did we have this planned the whole oh.
But I'm not ready yet. I don't know who I should face you as.
We get voice.
Would you have feelings for some idiot always lost in her delusions?
The answer should be obvious.
Would you have feelings for a Levantine agent always lurking in the shadows? Which one do you really need? The heroine named Agave who can trick an entire city? Or Vidya, the girl silently watching the man she loves behind the scenes? I haven't figured out the answers to these questions, but my journey is long, and I will find these answers someday. Until then, I will miss you dearly, wherever I am in the world.
The adjutant didn't just, snap his fingers to launch fireworks made of hearts into the air. There's no need for that.
Huh?
Oh, we still get voicing. I need you. And so does the city you've been protecting. You've done really well, Vidya. Your journey is long, but you don't have to walk it alone. Please stay by my side, as a Heimdall operative, Vidya. I think this might be the first seriously romantic moment in the game. There have been other romantic moments, but this is the first time the adjutant has been super proactively romantic.
I had made up my mind to leave. I even said things I didn't mean. And then Mr. Adjutant came along, saying all these heart-melting things. What am I supposed to do now?
I imagine we're gonna drag Vidya back to Freetia and Changxing, and she's gonna be super embarrassed. As Vidya sobbed, the sky suddenly lit up with fireworks and bubbles. Bathed in a pink hue, the city transformed into a dreamy, ethereal tableau, captivating everyone on the street. Undoubtedly, this was Vidya's doing. Overwhelmed with emotion, she projected the images from her mind into reality. But it had ruined such a romantic atmosphere if I just stood there analyzing the scene. I gently stepped forward and embraced her trembling form, like a superhero from the movie of her dreams. Her tears dampened my shoulder. And thus, our story, the movie starring her and me, finally found its true happy ending. And I think that is it. Yeah, so we are... No, we still got file 2. Never mind. We got one more file. One more file, you guys. Oh, it's Tao. Let's talk. Yeah, when I noticed, like with the regular chapter 13 and the first special of chapter 13, they had some romantic moments between the adjutant and the girls, but this was like the first time I felt like it was the focus rather than just an afterthought. Sure, but why did you want to meet here of all places? The minute I had returned to the company, Tao had requested to see me. Outside the company. My meetings with Tao were almost invariably in her office. She rarely ever ventured out, and she almost never indulged in alcohol. After all, leaving the company premises would expose her to numerous risks, like assassination attempts or bugging, threats that were difficult to mitigate. Catching the hint of confusion in my eyes, Tao delicately raised her wine glass, creating a burgundy barrier between our eyes. The gentle sway of her hand made the wine sparkle under the bar's dim lighting, casting a kaleidoscope of colors. This place used to belong to Sharma. Who? Sharma. Milan Sharma. Oh, that was Pai's old name, back when she joined the company. She seemed to really like this place, always meeting her business partners here. And now it belongs to you? No, it belongs to you, so I'm the owner of this bar? I don't want it. Why is that? Tao kept her focus on her wine glass, seemingly prepared for my firm refusal. I have no interest in running a business. Besides, I don't want anything that had any relation to that awful woman. So, you want neither fame nor profit. Is there anything you care about besides your operatives? Tao, don't you know that being the protagonist of a harem requires a lot of focus? What are you getting at? Etta and Roseanne Quarena have already provided their own answers to the question of how to save humanity, yet we haven't provided any. Isn't your project Deus Ex meant to be the answer? Would you support it? She glanced at me with raised eyebrows, her tone tinged with a mix of resignation and wariness. I know you wouldn't allow them to become gods, and they wouldn't want that either. Chronologically, the story after this chapter is 2.2 Azure Paradise, which is currently having a rerun. Oh, yes, I saw that! So I actually plan to do that one. I'm probably going to do that before I do anything else. Which is why we need another plan, and it shouldn't be my call. You know as well as I do that dealing with the Titagen contamination isn't enough. To stand against the enemy, you must find your own answer, raise your own banner, and rally your own supporters under it. Time is running out. You can't and shouldn't be content with just being the adjutant. In this matter, I am not taking no for an answer. Being pushy, but I kinda get it. I suddenly realized that she wasn't really trying to swirl the wine in her glass. She was actually trying to steady her trembling hand. At last, she finished her drink in one swift gulp and pushed the empty glass toward me. Just embrace your destiny, Jinu, as humanity's savior. Fuck, that's heavy. If you are the first rays of dawn on a glorious summer, then I shall be the last flower to bloom in late spring. Time flows restlessly on, yet I wish to pause this moment with you by my side. Can a shadow ever find happiness? This is probably Vidya. I've asked myself this over and over as I watched you fade away. They say in some worlds, even parallel lines can meet someday. So when you miss me, just look up at the sky and smile. My dearest love, my dearest stranger. Hold on! Wait, what? As I read on, the letter was abruptly snatched from my hand, revealing a blushing Vidya before me. So this is I'm assuming this is a letter she was writing to me, or to the adjutant. This is... You slipped this into my suitcase, didn't you? I questioned her instantly. Oh, fuck. I forgot to take it out. Taking advantage of her crestfallen moment, I quickly reclaimed the letter. Although a farewell letter was no longer necessary, I still wanted to keep it. It had been 2 days since we returned to the company. During this time, I had sorted through endless paperwork for Vidya's transfer while she busied herself personalizing her room at the base. As I put the letter back in my suitcase, I noticed another pink envelope at the bottom. Is this one also from you? I raised and waved the envelope before Vidya's eyes. Huh? No. Why would I write 2 farewell letters? She shook her head, then suddenly leaned in and scrutinized the envelope with a suspicious look. Mr. Adjutant, this isn't another love letter, is it? Hell if I know. That familiar tone and gesture. It seems she was already fitting in well as a Heimdall operative. Using paper letters in this day and age. I have a good guess as to who it might be. Rosen, maybe? I carefully opened the envelope, recognizing the handwriting immediately. Ah, that's Kaede's handwriting. What does it say? Okay, so this is Kaede, okay. I'm actually a little surprised. It's a letter of thanks from the entire crew and all the citizens of New Hentiro. It says everyone loved the movie, and the crew considered the shoot a rewarding experience they'd never forget. No surprise there. Seeing a demiurge handmaiden up close on a sunken island was something the people of New Hentiro wouldn't soon forget. Ah, that girl is too much. Although Vidya tried to sound casual, her eyes twinkled with joy. I continued reading the letter. And one more thing. One night during the shoot, I overheard director Agave talking to herself, wondering if making the movie would really be worth it. I didn't have the chance to respond to her then, but now I can say for sure. Everything you did meant a lot to us. You saved me, and you saved our city and its people. For us, it was as meaningful as anything could ever be. Ah, what a sweetheart. Thank you for everything you have done for New Hentiro. The letter ended with dozens of signatures, each in different handwriting. Vidya's overcome. Honestly, I couldn't quite match all those names to the faces of the crew members. Yet the image of them bustling under Vidya's and Chengxing's direction vividly popped into my head. Those smiling faces, which I thought would blur over time, became clearer in my memory. This is my answer, I guess. What was that? It's nothing. I smiled at Vidya, keeping the weight of my thoughts to myself, as always. Let's go, Vidya. And we are done. I feel like this took a little bit longer than it would have normally. But we're done. Can we skip this? I guess we can't. Thank you for watching. I'm wondering if we're gonna get like another cutscene to explain or like to lead into the next chapter. Are we gonna get a hook? No, I guess not. No hook. Huh. Oh, you know what? They've got a prelude. I didn't watch this. Oh well. So that's when the prelude starts. So after this, I guess what we'll do is I'm gonna end this, but I think what I'll do next time, go into Beyond Elysium. Yeah, before we do that, we're gonna really quickly, we're just gonna auto clear this, max auto clear 5 times, whatever I can from that. But before I really do. Before I do the next chapter, I guess what I'll do is I'll go do Azure Paradise rerun. I mistakenly did this. I didn't realize what it was. So I'll start from Progress 1 and just keep going through all of this next time on Dragon Ball Z. Wait, I got a message? Email. Claim all. Okay. And I guess I can also go to the shop and buy these. These are important.
Next time, maybe I'll help you pick out something useful too.
And we'll grab whatever this is, because this is also important. Come on, claim all. And that. What is this exactly? Oh, level up material. And go back here. Okay. Oh, did I just level up? I did. I'm 63 now. Alright, I think that's good enough. We have done everything that we need to do. And I'm going to leave you guys here, because I'm starving, and I'm going to get some food. But thank you guys for joining me. Cal, Hisoka, I don't know if you're still there. Anime Hero Gamer fan. Cloud Monkey, it was good seeing you hop in. Rafnar, thanks for joining me. I don't know if Tin Can managed to pop in. Yeah. It's always fun streaming with you guys. Okay, so you are in fact still here. No, I mostly just did a lot of talking. A lot of reading. So if you ever get the chance though, I would say try this game. It's actually pretty fun. It's actually not bad. Yeah, thank you guys for joining me. And I will probably be on sometime tomorrow. So you guys have a good one. Wait, that was the wrong button. That was the wrong button.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Like
Electric Boogaloo.
You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention. Oh, you don't let the ruthlessness prevail. Oh, it's time to light your fire for ascension. Like a phoenix, you burst into fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst into fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. They let you down, but you get up. They let you drown, but you don't stop. You show 'em you're a phoenix. Phoenix, you burst into fire, burn a thirst and desire.